Good day, everyone. Welcome to this vlog from Train and Location, your certified DiSC provider. Today's topic is a straightforward approach to helping determine more information about someone, which can provide clues to their DiSC style or styles. At its simplest, DiSC can be determined by two aspects of observable behavior. Those aspects are pace and priority. A reminder here, pace incorporates observable activity level or energy of an individual. Priority incorporates observable outward demonstrations of one's focus or orientation. Both of these can be determined in person, meaning face-to-face, observing someone interacting with another, or during a phone call, through email, or even text. My point here is that we're constantly in a position to observe or experience behaviors which can indicate an individual's pace and priority. Now, each of the DiSC styles has a unique combination of pace and priority. I'm going to say that again. Each of the DiSC styles has its own unique combination of pace and priority. Now, let's see how our descriptors fit into that grid of pace and priority. Pace consists of a scale between fast and deliberate. I placed a couple other common terms here to start to help you in your understanding of pace. Priority consists of a scale between task and people orientation. Now let's see where the respective styles fit into our pace and priority grid. The model on the right is a more clear representation of the unique styles placed into the grid. Before we move on, however, let's break it down with the descriptors we saw on the last slide. So in the D quadrant, you'll see the fast pace with a task priority. In the I quadrant, you'll see again a fast pace like the D, with a people orientation on the priority line. In the S quadrant, you'll see a more deliberate or reserved, or I'll say moderate now, pace, as well as a people orientation. And again, notice they share a people orientation with the I. That'll come in handy later. And on the C, it's again more of a deliberate, reserved pace with a task-oriented priority. Let's also look at the advantage of the grid by similarity between different styles and dissimilarity. So I'm going to illustrate the pace on the left grid. We see that D and I share a faster outgoing pace. We also see that the C and the S share a deliberate, reserved, or more moderate pace. Now, I've intentionally left out the priority spectrum for the purpose of illustrating styles with similar pace. Using the S as example style here, we see that the S and C share some of the same language by the nature of their similar pace. In other words, if they have a similar pace, they are more likely to be able to understand one another sooner and easier than if not. Putting it another way, they each know a little bit more about the language of the other with whom they are interacting. Now, moving over to the right grid, we see that D and C share a task orientation priority. We also see that I and S share a people orientation priority. And again, I've intentionally left out the pace spectrum for the purpose of illustrating styles with similar priority. In other words, they each know a little bit about the language of the other. So I hope you see how I can make the same inference about language that I made at the left grid by looking at similarity and priority. Now, there's some of you that might wonder, what about the diagonal pairings, meaning the DS relationship or the CI relationship? Well, that's a good question. This is where we begin to see interaction between styles that don't share a pace or a priority. I call this dissimilar. In contrast to the above examples, neither style here knows much about the language of the other. So in the grids above, you would consider one style or language as you prepare to interact. You would do the same in the bottom grid. For example, if a D needs to interact with an S, the first thing the D considers is that the S is deliberate, reserved, pace, and has a people orientation priority. This knowledge is all the D needs to encourage successful interaction. Now, granted, it will take a little more planning and effort entering the conversation with the other's S style in mind. I call this the extra effort or stretch that is needed. The D may have to stretch or flex a little to speak the language of the S, always considering the S's needs, preferences, and priorities. Now, I want to use the analogy here of learning a new task at work. At first, it's not easy or comfortable. However, over time and practice and understanding what is required of completing the task successfully, you need to stretch less and less to get improved results. As we wrap up our session, let's look at some more descriptors to help you better and more comfortably identify each style. I'll begin my discussion of each type with their two aspects of pace and priority, and then I'll end with what overuse of a style might look like. So as you can imagine, the D is, as we've covered before, a fast pace. I'm also inserting quick and direct and outgoing and assertive. I'm trying to throw these descriptors in to get you comfortable with using whatever term you like to determine a fast pace. The priority, as we've learned, is task. Some people say that a D is guarded behavior and not quite as open as an I or an S. The nickname for this is a problem solver, and maybe the next sentence will help us understand that. A D's emphasis is on shaping the environment by overcoming opposition in order to accomplish results. Their motto is do it now. Other descriptors might include competitive, assertive, daring, ambitious, directive, expedient, and I might throw dynamic in there as well. Now, the last one I want to cover is the strength and maybe a potential overuse of this style. They're good at directing and deciding. However, they may become autocratic. Let's move on to the I style. Again, as you probably know already, they share a pace with the D. Again, that is fast, quick, direct, etc. Their priority, however, as compared to the D, is a people orientation. They're considered more open and less guarded like a D is. The nickname here, call them a people person. The emphasis on shaping the environment by influencing or persuading others. Their motto, let's make it fun. Other descriptors to help you might include demonstrative, enthusiastic, intense, optimistic, persuasive, social, interactive, engaging, involved. And their strength and potential overuse might be good at promoting and persuading. However, they may oversell and can leave tasks incomplete. Next, let's move on to the S style or steady. And again, we learned that they're in the other end of the pace scale. They're deliberate, reserved, moderate, and I'm adding indirect here as a descriptor to pace for the S. Their priority is people or people orientation, and similar to the I, they're more open. The nickname here is the planner. Their emphasis is on cooperating with others within existing circumstances to carry out the task. Their motto is, let's work together. Other descriptors for an S might include systematic, stable, patient, peaceful, accommodating, team-oriented, calm, and organized. Their strength and overuse might look like they're good at being steady and agreeable. However, they may give in despite their own needs. And last is the C, or conscientious. Their pace, as you already know, similar to the S, is going to be deliberate, reserved, moderate, or indirect. Their task, as with the D, their priority, as with the D, is a task orientation or a little more guarded. Their nickname, the detailer. Their emphasis is working conscientiously within existing circumstances to ensure quality and accuracy. Now, their motto is do it right. Other descriptors might include accurate, analytical, exacting, factual, precise, logical. And their strength and overuse, they're great at analyzing and accuracy. However, they may become perfectionistic and indecisive. And that's sometimes known as paralysis by analysis. They get stuck in analyzing, they can't move forward. So I want to thank you for joining us today. We hope this information, as our other vlogs, has been helpful and valuable. We look forward to seeing you in a future vlog. Here's our contact information. Meanwhile, good luck with the DiSC.